I'm Jay Holland, welcoming you back to Guided by Faith. This is your daily wisdom, counsel, and spiritual advice to help you in your walk with Jesus. Yesterday, I introduced to you the concept of atomic habits, the surprising power of small changes. And we want to use atomic habits to take us from great intentions after church camp, a spiritual high, or just a real time of conviction, to go from intentions to true transformation. Atomic Habits is a book that I came across a few years ago. It's written by James Clear, not a Christian book, but has helped me in my walk with Jesus more than just about any book that I've read. And he says something that I mentioned yesterday. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. You think about it. Every team has the goal of winning the championship. Every year they go into it. Only one wins. Some teams have better talent and they don't win. Why is it? Typically, it's the systems, the habits, the practices of the team that wins that gets them there. And so we want to learn, how do we focus not on our goals, but on our habits that will produce the goals? Yesterday, I encouraged you to think of one tiny habit that would take less than 5 minutes a day that you could do to help you grow in your walk with Jesus. The rest of this week, I'm going to explain to you the 4 principles from Atomic Habits that will help you take that habit and really make it stick to where it transforms. Today, we're going to talk about making it obvious. The number one thing you want to do when you've decided your habit is you want to make it obvious every day. Like you trip and fall over it so that you remember to do it. If you want to build a habit that lasts, it's got to be obvious. It's got to be visible. It's got to be accessible. It's got to be connected to something that you already do. How many times have you planned to read your Bible and then you just totally forget about it? Most spiritual habits fail not because of a lack of a desire, but because we don't set ourselves up to remember. James Clear in that Atomic Habits book said, many people think they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. So I don't doubt your motivation, but if you're like me, in the 70,000 thoughts that you have running through your head every day, they go all over the place and you forget to do the things that you really care about. So if your habit is vague, it won't happen. You need a clear cue for your habit. So we want an obvious cue for our habit. I find this in the Old Testament. And it's funny, in Deuteronomy, when Moses is introducing the commandments to Israel, he says, these commandments are to be on your hearts, impress them on your children, tie them as symbols around your hand, and bind them on your foreheads. Write them down on the door frames of your houses. So God was telling the Israelites, like, I want you to bind things on your hand to remember of the habit. Anybody ever done that where you've like taken a rubber band and put it on your hand to remind you of something? You ever forget what the rubber band's for? Well, Israel would tie things on their hand to remind them of the commands of God. We want to get like that. They would write the commands on the doors of their house for them to remember. They were trying to make it obvious. And so I want you to work to make it obvious as well. So what are some visual cues? Let's say that you want to read the Bible each day. One thing you could do is, like, when you get out of bed in the morning, put your Bible on your pillows so that before you lay back down for the night, you have to put your Bible there. You could write a prayer on your mirror in your bathroom so that as you're brushing your teeth, you're reminded to pray and what to pray for. You could set a Bible verse as the lock screen on your phone so that you remember every time you open your phone, you're reminded of that Bible verse. And maybe you pick a new one each day or a new one each week. You work on memorizing it. And every time you pick up your phone, you're reminded about it. One of the things that's just really helpful is it's called habit stacking, where you connect your new habit with a habit that you already do. So for instance, you eat breakfast in the morning. After I eat breakfast, before I put my bowl in the sink, I will read one Bible verse. When I get in the car, I will pray for somebody. I did this to develop. I have actually what I feel like now is a really great morning routine of time with the Lord. And I started it with habits that I already did, and then I continued to stack them. One of those is I wanted to get in a habit of journaling every day. And so I bought this 5-year journal where there's like 5 lines per day. And, you know, if today is June 5th, whatever today is, June 10th, I don't know. I would write, you know, on June 10th, 5 lines in 2021. Then I come back around in 2022, write 5 lines. And it's just kind of a neat way to keep track of what's happening in my day, what the Lord's doing in my life, what my worries and concerns are. In order to remind myself to journal, my journal sits on the end table in our living room, exactly where I go every morning to sit and drink my cup of coffee. So 5 days out of 7, when I get up in the morning, I end up sitting in that spot. And my journal's right there, and so it's easy to remember. It's just a simple practice. Make it obvious. And so what you want to do, whatever this practice is that you've decided is you want to be a part of your spiritual walk, what is going to be your cue to make it obvious? You know, lock screen for your Bible verse, write something on your mirror, set an alarm on your phone at a time that works for you. So you choose a time and a place for your habit, you know, write it down. I will do this thing at this time in this location. You know, I will pray for my family every morning in my bathroom as I brush my teeth. Share it with a friend too. That's the other thing is if you're going to do a habit, it's best if you share it with a friend so that they can ask you about it. But again, the first component of truly having transformational habits is make it obvious. So what are you going to do today to make the habit you've committed to obvious? Think about it, put it into action, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about how to make it attractive, how to actually do what you want in your habit instead of just doing it when you feel like it. If you make it attractive, you'll want to do it every day. I'll tell you how I did that tomorrow. Talk to you in a minute.